Yes, good morning and welcome to my class. I'm Miss Vandana Gupta, Assistant Professor of Mathematics. So today we are going to start with our last unit, that is Unit 5, Elementary Probability Distributions. This is the part of Section 2, Statistics. In this, we are going to learn probability distributions. There are two types of probability distributions. One is called discrete probability distribution and the other one is called as continuous probability distribution. In discrete probability distribution, we are going to learn two types of distributions, binomial and Poisson distribution. In continuous probability distribution, we are going to learn normal distribution. So today actually we are going to begin with the binomial distribution. But before I actually start with that, we have to recall the concept of probability which we have done in semester 1. So let me quickly recall that. So recall the concept of probability from semester 1. If you remember in semester 1, when we started with the chapter of probability, the very first thing what I introduced you with was random experiment. Okay, so let us recollect what is random experiment. Random experiment, which you also called it as a trial, is an experiment whose outcome or result is not certain. For example, tossing an unbiased coin. When you toss a coin, you are not sure what is the result of the experiment, whether it will land into head or tail. You cannot predict that. So this is an example of a random experiment. Another example is rolling a fair dice. You know that a dice is a six-faced cube. It's like a cube having six faces, and on each face a number from 1 to 6 is written. When you throw this dice, you are not sure which number will come on the uppermost face of the dice. So this is again an example of a random experiment. So what is meant by random experiment? An experiment whose outcome is not certain. We do not know what is the result. Okay. See, even though we do not know what is the result, but we certainly know what can be the result. What can be the possible results. Okay. So if you collect all the possible results of a random experiment, then set and call it as a set. That set we call it as a sample space. So what is a sample space? It is the set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment. So for example, in an experiment of throwing a throwing a coin, you know that what could be the possible results. Either you will get head or you will get tail. So if I denote head by H and tail by T and separate them by comma and put it in the curly brackets like this and call this as a denote this set by S, then such a set we call it as a sample space. So sample space is the set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment, and the members of the sample space we call it as a sample point. Possible outcomes of a random experiment are called sample points. So H is called as sample point, P is called as a sample point, and S is called as a sample space. With this symbol N of S, we mean number of sample points in S. So S contains how many points? How many sample points? 2, 1 and 2. So N of S is 2. Similarly, if you throw a dice, you know what are the possible results of that experiment? The possible outcomes could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the sample space of this experiment of throwing a dice is this. Okay. So I hope you have understood the meaning of sample space. Okay. Sample space is the collection of all possible outcomes of a random experiment. Now there is something called event. What is an event? Any subset of the sample space is called as an event. Or in other words, event is a set of particular outcomes of a random experiment. What does that mean? Let us see an example of tossing a coin. Okay. In the next example of tossing a coin, you know that the collection of all possible outcomes of this experiment, that is H and T, we call it as a sample space. Suppose I call an event as getting a head. So A will contain only H. Or I may call that event is getting a tail. I may call it as B. Okay. So these are the particular type of outcomes. Understood? So A and B are the events and S is a sample space. You see that event is a subset of sample space. Then we have defined what is meant by the probability of an event. So if you throw a coin, what is the probability that you get head? So how we define that probability of an event? Probability of an event A is defined as number of points in the event A divided by number of points in the sample space. So this is how we define the probability. If you see in a common language, if not technically, probability means a chance. So probability is actually the measure of chance of occurrence of that event. Okay. What is the chance that you
Yes.
get head? What is the chance that you get tail? Okay. So that is what is called as a probability. So let us find out the probability of some of the events. So I have taken a small example. An unbiased coin is tossed. Find the probability of getting a head and also getting a tail. So what I will do to find the probability, let me first find out what is the sample space of this experiment. So let us suppose that S is the sample space. So what S will contain? It will contain the set of all possible outcomes of this experiment. What are all the possible outcomes of this experiment? You know that when you throw a dice, throw a coin, either it will go in H or in T. So sample space will contain H and T. So number of points in the sample space is 2. Now I have to find out the probability of getting a head. So let me call that as an event A. So let A be an event of getting a head. So A will contain what? Only 1 point H. So number of points in A is 1. So what is the probability of A? Number of points in A divided by number of points in S. So that is 1 upon 2. So it is 0.5. Similarly, we can find out the probability of getting a tail. So let me call B as an event of getting a tail. So number B will contain only T. So number of points in B will be 1. So what is the probability of B? Number of points in B divided by number of points in S. It is 1 upon 2, which is 0.5. So what we have observed here, that when you throw a coin, the probability of getting a head is also 0.5 and probability of getting tail is also 0.5. If you convert it into percentage, what will you get? 0.5 if you convert into percentage, it will give you 50%, correct? 0.5, which is same as 50%. Similarly, this 0.5 is also 50%. So that means when you throw a coin, there is a 50% chance that you will get head and 50% chance that you will get a tail. Okay. So whenever you might have seen in practice also, in practical day-to-day life also, when you are not able to decide what to do, what we do, we toss a coin. You might have seen in cricket matches to see whether the which team will go for batting and which team will go for bowling. What they do, they toss a coin, correct? So why? Because tossing a coin gives an equal opportunity, equal probability of getting head and tail. Okay, same 0.5 or 50%. Then we have defined what is random variable. If you remember in the semester one, let me recollect it again. What is a random variable? A random variable is a variable along with some probability. Okay, that is called a random variable. Okay. Now there are two types of random variables. One is called discrete and the other one is called as a continuous. What is the difference between them? Let us see what is a discrete random variable. So a variable x which takes distinct values along with their probabilities. Suppose it takes the values x1, x2, x3, xn along with the probabilities p1, p2, p3, pn. Then such a variable is called as a discrete random variable. If you remember in the last semester, we have calculated the expectation and variance of such a discrete random variable. Okay, so to understand that, I've given you some examples. For example, number of defective items in a lot. Suppose you have got a box, okay, and in that box, suppose there are 10 items. Okay, there is a box, it contains 10 items, and suppose by x is the number of defective items. So let me explain you this with the help of an example. Suppose there is a box. The box contains 10 items. I define the random variable x as number of effective items. Okay. Now look at here. In this box, what values x can take? Let us list down. See, it may happen that the box contains no defective item. So x will take value 0. Or there will be one, there may be one defective item, or there may be two defective items, or 3 or 4, 5, or like this up to 10. All the items are defective. So x takes values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10. Along with their probabilities, what is the probability that 0 items are defective? We will write down the probability. What is the probability that one item is defective? What is the probability of that? So such a table, if you remember, that is called as probability distribution table. Probability distribution table. Okay. And this x is called as probability. Okay. So a random variable is a variable along with its probability. And if is taking distinct values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay. So I hope you have understood the concept of discrete random variable. Similarly, the second example, number of accidents on a particular road. The number of accidents could be 0, could be 1, could be 2, anything. So it is taking different values. So this is again an example of discrete random variable. Then a random variable x is called continuous random variable if it takes a value within a given range. For example, height, weight, income. If you see that height of a person can take the value in decimal. Height of a person can be 5 feet 3 inches, 5.3. You know? So height can be 5.6. So the height is taking the values between 5 and 6. It can be 5.4. So it is taking values within a given range, 5 to 6. Similarly, weight. Weight can be in decimal. A person can have weight 50.7. So it is taking the value between the range of 50 and 51. Okay, it can take any value within the given range. So this is an example of a continuous value. Okay, if you remember, one very good example I had given to tell you what is discrete and continuous. In your HSC mark sheet, you see the total marks obtained out of your, maybe out of 600 or something. Out of 600 marks obtained, it is a discrete random variable, discrete variable, because it is taking a whole number. Okay. Whereas the percentage of marks obtained, it is a continuous variable. Why? Because percentage could be in decimal. Somebody might have got percentage as 60.8. So that percentage is taking the value between 60 and 61. Any value within a given range. So I hope you have understood the concept of discrete and continuous. Discrete means it will take different values like number of defective items, number of accidents, marks obtained. Okay. And continuous variable will take a value within a given range. Okay. Like 50 to 51 ke beech mein. Weight, height, you can say cost of an item. Cost can be rupees and paise, or percentage, or income of a person. Income can be 20,000 rupees and 80 paise. It can be, income can be in rupees and paise. So that also can take the value within a given range. So this was all about the discrete and continuous. So that is what is the difference between the discrete and the continuous random variable. Okay. Now see what is the meaning of Bernoulli's trial. This is something new I'm introducing you. An experiment, which we also call it as a trial. So an experiment which results into only two outcomes. One is called as success and the other one is called as a failure, is called Bernoulli's trial. So what is a Bernoulli's trial? ऐसा एक्सपेरिमेंट जिसके केवल दो ही रिजल्ट होंगे, ऐसे एक्सपेरिमेंट को हम बोलते हैं बर्नौलीज ट्रायल. फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हेन यू टॉस ए कॉइन, उसके दो ही आउटकम होते हैं, या तो टेल या तो हेड. उनमें से किसी भी एक को आप सक्सेस बोल दो और दूसरे को आप फेलियर बोल दो. तो फॉर एग्जांपल मैं डिफाइन करती हूँ, सक्सेस मतलब हेड एंड फेलियर मतलब टेल. दिस इज अप टू मी हाउ आई डिफाइन इट. ओके, सक्सेस मीन्स हेड एंड फेलियर मतलब getting a tail. So this is an example of a Bernoulli's trial. Okay, any experiment जिसका केवल दो ही रिजल्ट होंगे, सक्सेस या फेलियर, ऐसे एक्सपेरिमेंट को हम बोलेंगे Bernoulli's trial. Understood? So one example of Bernoulli's trial is tossing a coin. लेकिन throwing a dice is not a Bernoulli's trial, क्योंकि जब आप डाइस को थ्रो करते हो तो उसके केवल दो ही रिजल्ट नहीं होते हैं. It can land up into either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So that cannot be considered as a Bernoulli's trial. Okay. So I hope you have understood the meaning of Bernoulli's trial. Now what are we going to do? We are going to repeat this Bernoulli's trial more than one time. That means, I'm giving you an example. I'm going to throw this coin more than one time. एक बार थ्रो किया, दूसरी बार किया, तीसरी बार किया. And you see that what is my chance of getting a success? अगर मैंने पहली बार कॉइन को थ्रो किया, what is my chance of getting a success? Getting a success मतलब getting a head. और हम अभी हमने देखा कि अगर जब हम कॉइन को टॉस करते हैं तो उसमें probability of getting head is 50%, 0.5, and probability of getting tail मतलब getting failure is also 0.5. ठीक है. अब मैंने कॉइन को दूसरी बार थ्रो किया, उसमें भी probability of getting head is also 0.5 and tail is also 0.5. तीसरी बार किया तो भी वही probability है. Why? Because the first time when I throw and the second time when I throw, these two are independent of each other. Second बार जो मैंने थ्रो किया, it has nothing to do with the first time what I threw. There is no nothing you can say to do with the first one. So the second trial is totally independent of the first one. उसका पहले वाले से कोई भी सरोकार नहीं है. So these all the 5 times when I'm throwing the coin, they are independent of each other. ठीक है? And suppose I call P as probability of success and Q as probability of failure, then these two are complementary events. या तो मुझे सक्सेस ही आएगा या तो मुझे फेल ही आएगा, क्योंकि दो ही आउटकम है. तो दे आर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स ऑफ ईच अदर. सो P plus Q will give me 1. तो अगर मुझे P मालूम है तो I can find out Q. How? Q is 1 minus. ठीक है. तो ऐसे जब हम ऐसे बर्नौलीज ट्रायल को एक से ज्यादा बार करते हैं तो we that means we are using the word Bernoulli trials, एक से ज्यादा बार. And if they are having some properties, then such type of experiment we call it as Bernoulli's trials. So that is what I'm defining here. An experiment consisting of n trials. N trials matlab we are repeating the experiment n number of times. N could be 5, it could be 6, it could be anything. मैं कितनी भी बार एक्सपेरिमेंट को रिपीट कर सकती हूँ, मैं 5 बार 10 बार whatever. So n is the number of trials. So an experiment consisting of n trials with the following properties is called Bernoulli's trial. Now what are the properties? Look at the first number. The experiment is repeated n number of times. N is fixed. It may be 5, it may be 2, it may be anything. It is fixed number. ठीक है. Second one, there are only 2 possible outcomes of each trial. तो मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया. हर एक ट्रायल के दो ही आउटकम होंगे, या तो सक्सेस या तो फेलियर, वो आपको डिफाइन करना है। हेड आया तो सक्सेस, टेल आया तो फेलियर, ठीक है। थर्ड वन इज व्हाट, द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सक्सेस पी इज कांस्टेंट फॉर एवरी ट्रायल एंड इट विल बी सेम थ्रू आउट। पहले बार आपने फेंका तो भी प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सक्सेस इज 0.5, दूसरी बार किया तो भी 0.5 एंड सो ऑन। The probability of failure Q is also constant and it will also be same for all the trials. And P plus Q is 1. Why? Because they are complements of each other. या तो आपको फेलियर ही आएगा या तो आपको सक्सेस, या दोनों तो एक साथ नहीं आएंगे। तो P plus Q is 1. So what is Q? It is 1 minus P. And the last one, the N trials are independent of each other. मतलब कोई जो हम 5 बार फेंक रहे हैं उनका एक दूसरे से कोई भी सरोकार नहीं है। दे आर इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ ईच अदर। पहली बार मैंने फेंका, फिर मैंने दूसरी बार फेंका, तीसरी बार फेंका, ऑल दीज ट्रायल्स आर इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ ईच अदर। इंडिपेंडेंट मतलब उसका पहले वाले से कोई भी मतलब नहीं है। ओके, तो ऐसे सब ट्रायल्स और ऐसा सब एक्सपेरिमेंट जिसमें ये 5 प्रॉपर्टी है उसको हम बोलते हैं बर्नौलीज ट्रायल। What are the 5 properties? The experiment is repeated fixed number of times. First one. Second one, every time you are going to get only 2 results, either pass or fail, success, failure. तीसरी वाला, probability of success is constant for all the trials, and probability of fourth one, probability of failure is also constant, and if you add them you will get 1. So if you know probability of success, you can find out probability of failure by subtracting it from 1. And the last one, all the N trials are independent of each other. Okay, so such an experiment we give a name, Bernoulli's trials. Okay, Bernoulli is the name of the statistician or the scientist who has studied and invented this. Okay, on his name the name is given. Now see the probability, मैंने n बार थ्रो किया तो कितनी बार मुझे सक्सेस मिला, what is the chance of that? That is called as a probability. So probability of r success, अगर मुझे r बार सक्सेस मिला है तो मुझे n minus r टर्म फेलियर मिलेगा. That is given by this formula. Okay, and any random variable x जिसका probability density function, probability distribution function is given by this is called as binomial variable. Okay, so I think it is enough for today. Tomorrow we will continue, or maybe in the next lecture we will continue with this. So for today it is enough. What we have done today, we have recollected some of our concepts of probability from semester 1, and then we have defined what is Bernoulli's trial, ऐसा experiment जिसके केवल 2 ही result होते हैं. And then we have seen if you go on repeating this experiment for more than one time, number of time is n, and if that experiment is having these many properties, then this is called as Bernoulli's trials. Okay, so in the next lecture we will actually begin with the binomial distribution. So I think enough for today. So thank you all.